Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel Go Study 24/7. In this video I am going to discuss about the background of Indian Constitution and framing of Indian Constitution by Constituent Assembly. Indian Constitution is the largest written constitution in the world and it is a huge topic, but I will be discussing few key points which are important for competitive exams. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon. Constitution of a country is a legal document which provides the basic structure of the political system and defines the power of main organs of the state. With the exception of United Kingdom, almost all democratic countries possess a written constitution. The Constitution of United States of America was the first written constitution in the world. Now let us discuss some key points about constitutional development. In 1934, the idea of Constituent Assembly for India was put forward for the first time by M.N. Roy. In 1935, the Indian National Congress demanded a Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on behalf of Indian National Congress, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchisee. The demand was accepted by British government during August of 1940. In 1942, Stafford Cripps, a member of cabinet, came to India with a draft proposal of British government on the framing of an independent constitution to be adopted after World War II. The Cripps proposal were rejected by Muslim League, which wanted India to be divided into two autonomous states with two separate constituent assemblies. Finally, the Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. Now let us discuss about few acts which created landmarks in the development of the Constitution. Regulating Act 1773. It made a provision of Supreme Court at Fort William, Calcutta, comprising one Chief Justice and three other judges. Governor General was empowered to make rules, regulations, and ordinances with the consent of the Supreme Court. Pitt's India Act 1784. A six-member Board of Controllers was set up, which was headed by a minister of the British government. All political responsibilities were given to this board. Trade and commerce related issues were under the purview of the Court of Directors of the company. Charter Act 1793. Courts were given the power to interpret rules and regulations. Charter Act 1813. Trade monopoly of the East India Company came to end. Local autonomous bodies were empowered to levy taxes. Charter Act 1833. This act asked government to abolish slavery in India. Charter Act 1853. This was the last Charter Act and it made important changes in the system of Indian legislation. This act followed a report of the then Governor General Dalhousie for improving the administration of the company. A separate governor for Bengal was to be appointed. Recruitment of company's employees was to be done through competitive exams. Now let us discuss about some administrative and legislative reforms after 1857. Government of India Act 1858. It brought an end to the company's rule and transferred power to the British Crown. It changed the designation of Governor General of India to the Viceroy of India, and he was appointed as the direct representative of the British Crown in India. Dual government introduced by Pitt's Act was abolished by this act. This act proposed highly centralized administration. A new office of the Secretary of the State for India was created and he was vested with complete authority and control over Indian administration. The next is Indian Council Act 1861. Governor General was empowered to issue ordinances in case of emergency. Indian Councils Act 1892. The councils were to have the power of discussing the budget and addressing questions to the executive. Morley Minto Reforms or Indian Council Act 1909. Morley was the then for India and Lord Minto was the then Viceroy of India. It was the first ever attempt to bring in a representative and popular element of the governance of the country. The principle of election was introduced but only in some cases. A provision was made for the association of Indians with the Executive Council of the Viceroy and Governors. Satyendra Prasad Sinha became the first Indian to join the Viceroy's Executive Council. He was appointed as law member. Muslims were given separate representation and hence Lord Minto came to be known as the father of communal electorate. Now the Government of India Act 1919. The subjects of administration were to be divided into two categories, central and provincial. Central subjects were those which were exclusively kept under the control of the central government. The provincial subjects were subdivided into transferred and reserved subjects. Government of India Act 1935 is the most important act behind the formation of the Indian Constitution. It prescribed a federation taking the provinces and the Indian states as units. It was optional for Indian states to join the federation, and since they never joined, the federation never came into being. The act divided legislative powers between the center and the provinces. The executive authority of the center was vested in the Governor General. The Independence Act 1947. It asked power to be transferred to the Indians on August 15, 1947. Now let us discuss about the Constituent Assembly, which was set up in 1946 as per the Cabinet Mission Plan. The members were elected indirectly by the provincial assemblies in the ratio of 1 member per million population. There were total 389 members in the Constituent Assembly, of which 296 were elected by the members of the provincial assemblies and the rest were nominated by the princely states. The first meeting of Constituent Assembly was held on 9 December 1946 and Sachinanand Sinha was the first interim president. On 11 December 1946, the second meeting of Constituent Assembly was held. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the permanent president of Constituent Assembly and H.C. Mukherjee was the vice president of Constituent Assembly. Jawaharlal Nehru moved the objective resolution in the Assembly on 13 December 1946. It was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on January 22, 1947. It took 2 years, 11 months, 18 days for the Constituent Assembly to finalize the Constitution. The Constitution of India was adopted by Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949. This day is celebrated as National Constitution Day. It came into full operation with effect from 26 January 1950. The Constitution, as originally adopted, had 22 parts, 395 articles, and 8 schedules. The Constituent Assembly formed committees for framing the Constitution. Chairmen of some important committees are given below. Drafting Committee was the most important committee headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is known as the father of Indian Constitution. The chairman of Union's Constitution Committee and Union Powers Committee was Jawaharlal Nehru. Fundamental Rights Subcommittee J.B. Kripalini. Minorities Subcommittee H.C. Mukherjee. Ad hoc Committee on the National Flag Rajendra Prasad. The chairman of Order of Business Committee K. Munshi. Committee on the Rules of Procedure, Steering Committee and Finance and Staff Committee chairman was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights and Minorities and tribal excluded areas, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video of Indian Constitution, I will be discussing the features of Indian Constitution and the sources of Indian Constitution. Subscribe to this channel for more updates.